Last night, there was a huge storm brewing in my living room, and the first thing that I wanted to do is to put each one of the four tornadoes in different corners and figure out who's right, who's wrong, what's happening. You shouldn't be behaving like this. You shouldn't be disrespecting. You shouldn't be choking. You shouldn't be wrestling, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't. And looking back at the situation now, I'm glad that I didn't, because those 20 minutes turned out to be a very wonderful bonding time for the four boys. You see, about 10 years ago, I heard a recommendation, not even a recommendation, more like a remark from my uncle, where he said, um, actually, let me rewind a little bit. We were at a New Year's party, and we were in one living room, and all the boys and all the kids were in a separate living room. And they were, doing their thing, having their food, enjoying, like watching movies, cartoons, and doing something. I don't even know what they were doing. They were under supervision. And if somebody comes in and tells us that, something happened, you got to go check it out. And obviously, I run out because there's three of my kids. I think I was pregnant with my fourth one. There was three of my kids, and then there was a bunch of other kids. And obviously, my kids were the reason, the culprit for whatever happened. And I called them up, and I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna be punished. I'm gonna discipline you. Come here. Why did you do this? Why did you do that?" And I started, teaching them a lesson, like a normal mom would, right? But my uncle pulled me to the side. Like, he respectfully waited for me to be done, because, you shouldn't really disrespect a mom who is teaching their kids a lesson. Um, And then he called me over, and he's like, you're not going to be there with them all the time to figure out what's happening. Allow them to figure out their own relationship. And it was a very humbling moment, because I thought I was doing the right thing, but he showed me an even better thing to do. And from that moment, I've been teaching myself to sit back and just observe what's happening. Anytime they argue, I shouldn't be the judge for them. I should be more like I don't even know what to say it, more like an observer, like a lifeguard instead of a referee. And every time they would argue or fight or wrestle or debate, I would force myself to sit back, step back, and just observe what's happening. Because the worst thing that I want for my kids is to fight and fall apart after I'm gone. I'm not going to be there for them all the time. And I want them to be as tight as a rope. In Russian, there's a saying, as tightly woven together as a broom. Those, older brooms that have, well, whatever, as tight as a rope. Because each thread by themselves separately is easily torn apart. But when they're as a rope, then they are not going to be torn apart. They're going to be strong. And what I observed yesterday is, if I were to jump in again and intervene and tell each one of them what to do and how to behave and who to respect and how to talk, then they wouldn't have had that 20 minutes of bonding that they had. In the end, they were all exhausted. They were laughing and they were having a wonderful time. Of course, there was a few times where they were a little too close to the stone or like to a table, and they could have gotten hurt, but that's why I was there. I was just watching them. So today, I suggest that if you have more than one child, allow them to be themselves, allow them to argue, and allow them to fight, to wrestle. Just observe that they do it correctly, and observe that they don't hurt themselves or the other person.